What's happening, people? We are here. We are live and direct. I hope you lot are all doing well. What's the day today? It's Thursday. You know I always forget what the day is. It's Thursday, so you know it's another daytime stream meant to be 4 p.m. I absolutely apologize, but it's better late than never, innit? It's better late than never, and it's off the back of a good win yesterday. I'm gonna say good win. I know there's some people out there that might not agree with me. Some people might still be basking and relishing in what has been, a disaster of a season. But for me, it just means we're one game closer to the end of the season approaching. There's only one game left. So after Sunday, we can all get on with our lives. But big up to everyone. I hope you are having a wonderful day, first and foremost. And let me know what you lot been up to today. The sun has disappeared again. 1 minute is sunny in the UK, next minute it's not. But other than that, Manchester United picked up 3 points yesterday off the back of a great performance from AMAD. I'm so happy for him. Like, that's my own brother. It's crazy how happy I am for him. Soufiane Amrabat had a good game. Rasmus Højlund finally getting on the score sheet. And Bruno Fernandes just showing us kind of why he's such a big part of creating chances. Like it or not, if you lot don't agree, then I'm sorry. Then you just need to accept it. Bruno Fernandes is a big part of Manchester United creating chances, and yesterday was just a perfect example about that. So we're going to talk a bit about that. We're going to talk about Wayne Rooney's comments about building around Bruno. We're going to talk about I'm going to say emotional, because it was a little bit emotional for me. Raphael Varane and Anthony Martial saying goodbye to the fans at Old Trafford yesterday. That was sad. We're going to talk about the Marcus Rashford. I'm going to say abuse because it was abuse on the touchline during his pre-game warm-up. Clearly something was said to him that he didn't like. And we're going to talk about where do we draw the line between criticism and abuse, because I thought as United fans we'd know better after what happened with Paul Pogba, but it looks like it's carrying on as just a new victim. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And of course, we're going to talk about Erik Ten Hag's post-match speech. Now, similar to last year, final game of the season, he addresses the fans. The media is disgraceful, by the way, saying that he was being booed. He wasn't being booed. It was the Newcastle fans booing him. It was not him. It was not United fans booing him. But he said exactly what I'd anticipate a manager to say at that given time. Big up to everyone. As always, I'd like to hear your thoughts about every topic that we're talking about. So make sure you get involved in the chat, in the comments section. It's the road to 4K here. We ain't too far off, of 300 and something off. But if I'm consistent with the content, I think we'll get there in due time. Big up to everyone. If you've just come through, be sure to hit the like button as we approach the final weekend of the Premier League season. Man, does this feel like this feels like it's been a long season, but at the same time it feels very short. Could it happen on the weekend? Do you lot really think West Ham could beat City and Arsenal could beat Everton and they win the league? I don't know. I feel like I saw an interview Mohamed Kudus did, and he basically was like, my Ghanaian brother, he's talking about Thomas Partey, he was like, don't worry, I got something for you. I don't know, but would West Ham want their London rivals to win the league? I don't know, but that's a conversation for the weekend. Today we're just going to keep it strictly Manchester United. Once the season does end, guys, next week we will do a call-in show, because I want to hear everyone's thoughts. I think especially at the end of the season with the FA Cup coming up next Saturday as well, we're going to do a call-in show as well. But let's get the ball rolling, man. Let's get the ball rolling, and we're going to start with the Marcus Rashford abuse, because I just think it's ridiculous. Like, I really do think it's coming back from injury, back on the bench, warming up pre-game. Instead of you to cheer him on, instead of you to cheer your player on, you're just hurling abuse at him, man. I'm not going to give it too much time. I'm not going to give it too much attention. But I just think it's dumb as hell. And, I can tell he's a guy who's triggered, and he's a guy that's not in the right space right now, because the reaction, he gave a reaction immediately. And if he was in a good place, if he was confident in himself and confident in the way that his season has been panning out, trust me, he wouldn't have given a reaction. But he did. Is he wrong to do that? I don't think so. You see me, guys, and I say this all the time, I'm lucky, society is lucky I'm not a footballer, because I would be doing the most unhinged stuff. I'll bring back Cantona fly kicking people in the crowd. I would bring that back. Right now, footballers have to be a bit more humble with it. So it makes them an easier target. People feel like they can say what they want, hurl abuse and all of that stuff. And in your own stadium, like, I understand if it was a rival fan, if it's an away fan, but it's a United fan. I want to say before a big game, it wasn't really a big game, but United needed a win. There's no way United could have ended yesterday ending the season with a loss at home. And you lot might not agree that yesterday was a big game, because really we didn't move anywhere in the table. But I just think for mentality wise, especially going into the FA Cup final, it was nice to see it. And I feel like Ten Hag tried something different, benching Rasmus Højlund, which is interesting because he said he'd benching him to save his legs and give him a rest. But Garnacho's playing his 30th game in a row, both two young players. But it was nice to see just a tactical change, something different. And I think, I don't want to be reaching, but I think a lot of that tactical change flourished because of AMAD Diallo. Y'all can shoot me. But I think a lot of that was because of AMAD Diallo's involvement. A lot of that I saw of AMAD Diallo yesterday, guys, it's not new. I've been watching it for the last season, the entire last season at Sunderland, playing in, and if you lot want, you can go on United View. There's a show that I was doing last season called The Lone View. And there was one episode where for I think 10 minutes of the episode, I was just breaking down AMAD Diallo goals and assists while he was at Sunderland. A lot of things that he was doing there, he's doing it now, just with a lot more comfort, with just a lot more, fluidity, because he's getting more playing time. And that's always going to happen. You get more playing time, you play more comfortably. Sufyan Amrabat spoke about that after game. I'm going to speak about him as well, because I think United should keep him. You lot might not agree, but I think he could be a low risk kind of transfer. 20 million. Casemiro leaving, bring in someone else for 40 million. Bob's your uncle. Big up to everyone in the chat. Be sure to hit the like button. Big up to Keegan. Been a member for 6 months. That's literally since I started memberships, I think. So 6 months. Wow. Big up Minna. Well done. I don't condone the fan abusing him, but understand it from the fan's perspective or Rashi's shenanigans. I understand both perspectives. I can definitely understand both perspectives. But for me, it's I just don't get it. It's like kicking a man when he's down already. I'm not saying Rashford criticism is not warranted, but I think we should always have the conversation of where do we draw the line where something is going from criticism to abuse. Because that, in the stadium, is abuse. Criticism is, oh, come on, Rashford, do better, man. But the guy's warming up and you're abusing him. That's not criticism. That is not criticism. That is straight up abuse. And that's what he probably meant all them times. That's what he probably meant all them times when he was saying, oh, basically, stop abusing me. You lot need to leave me alone. And can I just say also, Rashford is a man who has been down this season, evidently. I just don't agree with kicking a man when he's down. And I will stand for, if that was Scott McTominay, when that was Harry Maguire, I do not condone it. When Harry Maguire was getting certain type of threats to his house, I didn't agree with it. I thought that was wrong. That's where you draw the line. But you can criticise a player for his playing ability and in Rashford's situation, what he's doing off the pitch, which is contributing to the lack of performance on the pitch, evidently. But before a game, there is no benefit to the fan and there's no benefit to the player. If not, it would probably make him play worse than abusing him. It just don't make sense. Instead, I think before a game, you give words of encouragement. But maybe that's the soft side of me. Big up to Riri, been a member for 5 months. Says some English fans are very disrespectful and nasty. It's not just English fans, because to be honest, this happens in Spain. I've seen ultras in Milan. I've seen ultras in France, where and this is not I'm talking about specifically the ultras in Europe. They are next levels of extreme. They go. I remember it was a game. I think it was AC Milan, where they made the players stay back after the game, and basically they had microphones going around in the crowd one by one. Fans were telling players off. That would never run in the UK. Can I just say that would never run in the UK? What is abuse before a game gonna do? Is it gonna help? No, it won't. It won't help. Abuse is never okay. Guys think they can say whatever they want because of the money. That's just jealousy coming out. The thing is right, people are always going to be critical of footballers because of the money that they make, and not just footballers. Actually, I feel like this is applicable to anybody in high sports, whether it's basketball, NFL, etc. People are always going to be critical of your performances because the way that they see it is just like everybody else. You right now, as a normal blue collar civilian, if you work in the NHS, if you work in a hospital, if you work in an office, you can't go to work and underperform on a consistent basis. You'll get sacked. So I understand that is where fans are looking at it and saying, I can't go to work every day and underperform, so why should you, who earns hundreds and hundreds of more than me, be able to do that? But I just think that there is always a fine line between abuse and criticism, and, you know, shouting abuse at someone on the side of the pitch. Instead, why don't you just try doing a bit of like words of encouragement? Maybe that might help, especially when you know a man's down already. Like, it just don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. But let's not dwell on that too much, because I feel like there was a lot more positives to take from yesterday's game. Eric Ten Hag, it took him to the second to last game, the penultimate game of the season. Yeah, it took Ten Hag till the penultimate game of the season to tactically switch stuff up. I mean, who knew giving Sufyan Amrabat a regular run of minutes will show better performances? Who knew that? Who knew that? Wow, that's like big revelation. Who knew AMAD Diallo was better than Anthony all this time? Who knew that? Eric Ten Hag clearly didn't. And now I feel like this has just made Eric Ten Hag signings look worse, because Garnacho and AMAD Diallo, two players that have come through recent years under United system, have been better than what Eric Ten Hag brought in Anthony. Anthony, for me, should not even sniff the training ground next season. He should not be in a 5-mile radius of that training ground. And I'll be real, AMAD Diallo for me and Garnacho, I think they're still like, we can use them as squad players. They can still play and rotate if United are going to go sign Elise. I saw David Ornstein talking about it today, saying that Elise's got a 60 million release clause, but it's not as easy as that. There's a lot of like complicated things that are part of that 60 million release clause, so it wouldn't be the most easiest deal to get done, and United are still interested in him. But I just don't know what that would mean for AMAD Diallo and Alejandro Garnacho, especially with the likelihood between Marcus Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. You know what, guys? I think out of the two of them, I think Rashford's going to leave. And the reason why I say I think Rashford is going to leave is because the way Manchester United, or the way sources, or, you know, the media has shut down quickly. You know, just 2 days ago, we were talking about Casemiro going to the Saudi League. We were talking about Bruno having interest from the Saudi League. That got shut down immediately. There's been not really much coming out about Marcus Rashford, because David Ornstein reported that Manchester United officials from Ineos and Bruno and his entourage met with Manchester United to understand what's happening here on out, and if he's a part of it, and if he's going to compete, if United are going to compete in the next couple of years. We've not heard anything to do with that regarding Marcus Rashford, and that's a guy that has, his brother's got links in the media. His brother's got links in the PR, if you want to say it. Out of the two of them, between Bruno and Rashford, I really do think now I've been leaning towards it, and I always did say it made more sense for Rashford to be sold. But I really do think Rashford could leave this summer. I really do think that. I think it's confirmed that Bruno will stay. He's the captain. He's going to continue to be the captain, whether or not Eric Ten Hag is here or not. Yesterday, I think, showed a big example as to why it's important for Bruno to be part of the team. United were struggling to create anything without him, and he comes back and suddenly United are creating at a better rate. That is no surprise. That is clearly, that shows his worth in the team and the value that he brings. And I think Bruno, for me, plays well when he plays with people like AMAD. Like, for me, I said this ages ago. I said AMAD and Bruno would play well together, because AMAD likes to play, even though he plays right wing, he likes to play more so in the half spaces, and he'll come in and link up a lot with the 10, he'll link up with the 8, he'll link up with the striker. In this instance, I don't even know who the hell was playing up top. It was like different people every time, but that was the case. So it's really no surprise for me in that instance. Big up to JM42 in the chat. Big up. There's something wrong with my chat thing. Eric Ten Hag has a big plan. Trust the process, guys. I know Twalumba is being sarcastic right there. I just know. Why are you doing that? Well, like, we can't even relish in a win. Like, I don't get it. Like, are we meant to win a game and just be sad? Like, is that what fans expect us to do this season? Is that honestly what you lot expect us to do this season? Is to win a game and be sad? No, guys, come on. Like, yes, this season's been crap. Yes, I accept that the season has been poor. I accept that. But when we win, I'm gonna enjoy it. You lot might say Giddy FC, all of that stuff, but I'm sorry, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my god, this season's so crap, we suck. But yesterday was a good performance. 3 people on the score sheet, 2 academy players. Hoyland finally got a goal. 15 goals in all competitions. Like, come on. I'm gonna enjoy it. Whether or not I want the manager to leave. Whether or not I want certain players to leave. 3 points is 3 points. Whether or not the 3 points don't make a difference. Because we're gonna stay in the same position anyway. But I'm sorry, like, we don't have to be sad about it all the time. Big up to Brian CFC. I was about to say something about Chelsea as well. With the super chat says, Mina talks footballing minerals. We try. How embarrassing is it, guys, that Chelsea are now going to likely finish above us? How embarrassing is that? For the way that Chelsea have been the last 5 or so months. For the way that they have been, it is so embarrassing. And I think that confirms to me that how bad this season is. Because Chelsea were the laughing stock. Chelsea were the laughing stock throughout a majority of the season. And then suddenly, they are finished above us. And I get it. Some people are saying, you know what, let them finish above us. We don't even want Europa League. We don't want Conference League, la, la, la. I understand that. But we should never be like that. We should never feel like that. Like, oh, let that team finish above us. But it's embarrassing. Not really, as they invested heavily. They just had to click, and they clicked. They actually have gone on a winning streak since Enzo's been out with injury. I'm not saying Enzo I'm not saying Enzo is like the big problem, but it's funny how they look better. And to be honest, they've got one of the best young players in the league right now. Is Cole Palmer the best young player in the league? I don't know. Is Palmer the best young player in the league? The thing is, I feel like the bracket for young player is quite wide. Foden will fit in there. Saka will fit in there. Cole Palmer will fit in there. But this is his first year actually playing consistent football. But then he's in the same bracket. You know what? I think it should be similar to like the NBA. We should have like not a rookie of the year, but like you should be part of your first team for a like maximum number of years. So maybe like 3 years, because it's unfair for younger players to come in, like Cole Palmer, for example, and he's competing against the likes of Saka, etc., who've been playing for a longer time. So yeah, Palmer for me is so good, but for me, Phil Foden is the best in the league. I think Jackson has more goals than Rasmus. I think he does. I think Jackson does have more goals than Rasmus. Keep Casemiro as the teacher for Mano. Nah. But I'm seeing, can I just say, guys, talking about Casemiro, Saudi apparently value him at 25 million, which is absurd to me because Liverpool got like nearly 40 million for Fabinho. Sorry. They got nearly... So do you not genuinely think 25 million is a reasonable price for Casemiro? I don't think so. Not at the rate at how Saudi buy players. Like, if Fabinho can go for 40, surely Casemiro can go for at least 35 at the minimum. I don't know. United have to sell him. Yeah, United have to sell him. I would keep Amrabat. And Glenn actually mentions it here, saying, Minna, what do you think of Amrabat the last 2 games? The last 2 games, Amrabat has been doing what I've just thought he would do, personally. It's similar to AMAD. Surprise, surprise. Players get a run of games and they play good. Like, of course, you're never going to see good performances from players when you play them for 20 minutes one game, then you leave them out for 4 games, and then they like it's never gonna work. It's never really gonna work. But he even said it yesterday. His exact words after the game. Big up to Suleiman in the chat as well. It's been a minute, man. I hope you're good. But he said it. This after the game yesterday. He said this is still not Sufyan Amrabat on the top. How I can play. It's my second 90 minutes in 4 or 5 months. So I'm not 100% as normal. That's normal. For me, that's normal. He went on to say, it was not easy, but I had to be patient. But I was always ready for the team when they need me 1 minute or 10 minutes. The only thing you could do is work hard and wait for the chance to come. True professional. Don't complain. Like, for me, I would keep Amrabat. Low risk, low reward. 20 million. And then bring in another player because United, whether or not we sell Casemiro, we have to buy a midfielder. So use that money, whether it's for me, Yusuf Fofana would be nice, Amadou Onana, that kind of profile, the more robust type of midfielder. Because Amrabat, my biggest worry is his agility. Like, it's not that his pace is slow, it's like his movement is slow. So turning and changing direction quickly, all of that kind of stuff, he's kind of slow with it. But for me, he reads the game well. And that's what you need, someone to play deeper. Surprise, surprise, Kobe's playing more advanced when there's someone playing CDM. Like that, this is literally what I've been saying for months, that Kobe is not a 6, and put someone else in the 6 and put him more advanced, and it will work. And we saw that. I still think that United do need, I wouldn't say he's a consistent starter in that role. He can start, but he'll need someone to alternate with him, for me. You lot are saying sell Cass for 35 million. I'd keep Amrabat. 20 million plus 350k a week, 50 million in saving though. This is what I don't understand, is when we talk about wages, guys, yeah, I think we need to understand how wages impact FFP in comparison to how transfers do. Let's do a maths class. I wish I had a whiteboard here, because then we could do a nice little maths class. But the saving of it's better for us to, for example, it's better for us to sell a player like Casemiro, and that way we will save in the FFP terms, rather than we let a player like Varane leave on a free and we're just saving wages. And the reason why I say that's better is because when we sell a player, i.e. Casemiro, 70 million fee, how many years did he come on? He came on a four-year deal. He came here on a 4-year deal. 70 million divided by 4. We just have to sell him for more than that. Clearly my maths is not that great for me to be pulling out the calculator. 17.5 million is what Manchester United will be reporting on their financial statements every year for the transfer value of Casemiro, plus the 350k a week that we're paying him. So that's about 30 million in total. So in total, on an annual basis, Casemiro, from an FFP perspective, will cost Manchester United 47.5 million. That's 17.5 million in his transfer fee that's amortized over the course of his contract, and then his 30 million in the salary throughout the year. Now, when we do that, or when we sell him, we just have to try and recoup a little bit of that so that it offsets in the books. And that helps the club from an FFP perspective, in comparison to just a player leaving on a free, like Anthony Martial, like Raphael Varane, Tom Heaton, all of them guys. So Casemiro, for me, we have to sell him. And we have to sell him for a reasonable price that will allow Manchester United to offset some of that money against the amortized cost of his transfer fee and his annual wages. That's a given. 25 million is too low. For me, that is way too low. It has to be something higher than that. If Fabinho can go for 40 million, I'm sorry, there's no reason why Casemiro can't. He kind of redeemed himself, in the last couple... I feel like the last couple games, he's kind of redeemed himself a little bit in comparison to, obviously, the games that were happening a while back. I'd get rid of Casemiro, send Amrabat back to Florence and sign Yusuf Fofana. I would take Yusuf Fofana. He's actually a guy that I mentioned in the video that I did recently about rebuilding Manchester United. I don't think he'll cost that much. I think he will cost like 25 million, like at the most. Maybe Man United tax might kick in. But he was linked to Nottingham last year, Nottingham Forest. And funnily enough, Nottingham Forest ended up buying Ibrahim Sangare instead from PSV. And I used to watch both of them. I used to watch Ibrahim Sangare at PSV, and I used to watch Yusuf Fofana at Monaco. And I was just shocked that Sangare didn't really hit the ground running in the Premier League. So I'm kind of glad Yusuf Fofana didn't go to Nottingham Forest as well, because he might have been caught up in that little situation as well, like Sangare is, where he's not really making an impact. Thuram is available on a free from Nice. He is. Thuram was another... I think Thuram's been linked to a move in Liverpool. Ten Hag just mentioned the Arsenal... What did I say yesterday or the day before? I said... if I had £1 for every time Ten Hag mentioned that, well, I could gift 50 memberships here on the channel. I could gift 50 memberships on my own channel if I had £1 for every time Eric Ten Hag mentioned that 3-1 game against Arsenal last season. I'm going to quickly go on here. I'm trying to find where the tweet is. He's talking about Luke Shaw has a very small chance of making the FA Cup final. Just, please, let's not waste our time. Let's not waste our time. Let's not waste our time. He says Harry Maguire's got a fair chance of being back for the final. Okay, this is what Ten Hag has said about the Arsenal game. He said, confidence is a great thing. This season, we almost didn't get the turning point. Now we can make a step through. I remember the Arsenal game. He's talking about the Arsenal game all the way in September. I think he's mentioned it like 7 times in the last like month and a half. He's mentioned it like every press conference. But he's went on and said, I remember the Arsenal game and in the 87th minute, I thought we won it. That could have given a big lift to the team. We never got this, but a game like yesterday will help us, especially the young players. It will give lots of confidence. And this is why I said, guys, that I am happy about yesterday's performance. I'm happy about getting 3 points because for me, it gives the team confidence going into the final. Like, Brighton, it'll be nice to get a result there as well if we are able to, but this is the kind of stuff. Mina, what kit is that you have on? This is a training kit from I think it's a training kit from last season. My mum hates me wearing this, guys, when I go visit her because can you see it's got like flames? So she always says to me like, why is your jumper looking like you're in hell? My mum hates me wearing this, but I like it. But it's a training kit from last season. The training kit this year is nice as well. Is it last year? Yeah, it's last year. I got it like halfway through the season, I think it was. Anyways, let's talk about what Wayne Rooney said, guys. Let's talk about Wayne Rooney's comments about Manchester United. He's been on punditry for the last couple games on Sky, and he spoke about Bruno Fernandes, and he said, you have to build the team around Bruno. This is his exact words, by the way. He said, you have to build the team around Bruno. He's the one player with quality, and then keep the young players, then get rid of the rest. It has to be a massive clear out over the next couple of years. Do you guys feel the same? Do you guys feel the same that it's Bruno that we should build around? Because I'll be real, the only way that I see United selling Bruno is if they're signing Musiala or they're signing Wirtz. Like, unless they're signing a pure playmaker, like a proper good one as well at that. If Musiala goes to Man City, guys, I'm not streaming for 40 days and 40 weeks. I'm going to be so distraught. Like, I'm going to be going through the 8 stages of grief. I'm going to be crying my eyes out. I do see Bruno staying. That's the thing. Like, I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. I've been leaning towards the idea of Rashford leaving and Bruno staying inevitably. I think that's what's going to happen, especially because, you know, Bruno's going to be 30 or he's already 30. And on top of all of that, he creates a lot of chances, guys. Did you see Højlund's celebration yesterday? Right, he was shushing people, Samuel Luckhurst apparently, but he went online afterwards and posted a picture saying just making sure they could see the number on the back, i.e., I think that's in reference to the piece that Samuel Luckhurst wrote saying that some people don't want to pass to Højlund. He was talking about Bruno, etc. And then, funnily enough, Bruno goes and assists him. And can I just say, this is how important a crowd is that's backing a player and they're behind a player, because the ball came to Højlund's feet and everyone's saying, shoot, shoot, shoot. That little bit of confidence from the crowd gave Højlund the confidence to shoot and for him to score. And you know what? Now that I think about it, 15 goals all competitions in his debut year. I mean, everyone's going to talk about Nicholas Jackson having more goals in the league, etc. But scoring those number of goals he did in the Champions League, and also can we talk about the quality of some of those finishes, especially in the Champions League? I can't remember what game it was where he picked the ball up from the halfway line and basically just ran at a defender and smashed it in. But I do think United still need a striker. I still think United do have to get a striker in the summer to share the weight with him. Maybe to be the front man and for him to just lead by support. I also always wonder, would United ever play 2 up front, like a second striker? I've let go of the idea of United signing Mehdi Taremi. I've let that go. He's going to Inter Milan. He's joining them on a free. But I always think, would United go back to playing 2 strikers where they play one behind the other? And if so, what would that mean for someone like Bruno who's playing in the 10? I don't know. It makes me a bit curious. It's like clockwork. I knew this comment was coming. I knew this comment was coming. I knew it. I knew this comment was coming. It's not the first time I've seen this comment either. Guys, if you live in the UK, by the way, yeah, specifically if you live in London, do not drink tap water. Do not drink tap water, guys. Do not drink tap water. We are a third world country with good PR, because if you live in London, there is over 20 people who have gotten sick from drinking tap water in the UK because of some bacteria in the water. Yeah, this is poverty. Like, don't drink water, guys. If you live in London, if you live in the south of England, do not drink. I have not. By the way, guys, can I just say, yeah, who even drinks tap water? Like, what the hell? Don't you have filters? Don't you have filters? Do you not drink filtered water? Welsh water is beautiful. Honestly, when I've been to Wales, 10 out of 10. When I've been up north, water's 10 out of 10. Down south, it reminds me of when I went. Like, when you go to certain countries, you can't drink water. By the way, like, you go to the Middle East, UAE, you can't drink tap water. When I go back to my home country, you can't drink tap water. They tell you, do not drink tap water. And I remember that one day I went out to eat in a restaurant when I was in my motherland. And the drink that I got a drink, and they had used water, tap water. I didn't know until I went home. One of my parents was like to me, "Oh, you went to this restaurant, like, did you make sure that they used bottled water in your drink?" And I was like, "Don't know." Then my dad was like to me, "Did you have ice in your drink?" I said, "Yeah." The next day, I was so sick. And I learned my mistakes. Did you see the Northern Lights? Didn't. I tried to go see it on Saturday with my family. We went and stood at a peak in London. Didn't work. We didn't see anything. We wasted the whole hour. The waterfall flooding OT is clean. People only drink tap water if they don't live in the south. Like, if you live in the north and you live in Wales, etc., I think people drink tap water. Bruno is fit, doesn't get injured. 3 years is enough time to get serious about a replacement for him. We need to be thinking about his replacement now. Anyways, I will only replace Bruno, guys, if we're getting Wirtz or we're getting Musiala. Like, it's simple as that. You lot might say I'm foolish in that instance, or I'm like childish or whatever, or we need to move on from Bruno. But right now, I don't think Bruno is. I wouldn't say that Bruno is the main issue. The main issue that we need to fix. I think there's way bigger issues in the team right now that needs to be fixed. I think United, like, that midfield is crying. The back line is a big issue. You know, left back with Luke Shaw being an issue as well. We need a striker, and we need depth in some particular positions, especially with, like. Can we talk about Anthony Martial before we talk about Anthony Martial, guys? Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. If you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, you get to support the growth of the channel as well, the ever-growing channel. You get to do that. And if you want to support the channel in other ways, you can. You can support it through super chats, sending in super chats with your questions, with your thoughts, just whatever you want to say. You can do that with a super chat as well. And if you don't want to do any of that, you just have to subscribe. Simple as that. But let's talk about Anthony Martial, guys. Let's talk about Anthony Martial, because obviously yesterday himself and Raphael Varane came out to say goodbye to the Old Trafford crowd. Saw Bruno singing Martial's song. That song, yeah, that song. When in the seasons that Martial was performing, that was the best chant ever. That was the best chant ever. In the seasons that United, where he was doing well in particular, I will never forget that front line. I will never forget lockdown Man United. The joy that they brought me, bro. Martial, Rashford, when Greenwood was part of it, Paul Pogba on the left side of the midfield, bro. Left side of midfield, Pogba. Ugh. I will never. Anthony Martial. I remember where I was the day you made your debut. I remember that. We thought we were signing. He had a Ballon d'Or clause. At that time, he was the most expensive teenager. 50 million. And it's just very unfortunate. I think the beginning of his downfall was the injuries. It was the injuries. That year where he played through injuries for for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then he spoke about it in an interview last year about how he basically just effed his body up for the manager, and then the manager was not really receptive of it. And when he was criticised in the media and fans started to turn on him, he said, like, the manager didn't come out and support me. I kind of felt bad for him, but Rashford, Martial, Greenwood, Pogba, Bruno, Matic, listen, that time, that was a good time. That was a good time. I really thought, wallahi, yeah, I really thought that United were back up. I thought, yeah, we're back up. We're back up. Martial, in 1920, Martial was his peak. We should have sold him that summer. I think it's injuries that messed him up. Imagine Martial doesn't get injured again where he goes and wins a couple trophies. He's won a couple trophies at United. Keep that in mind, you know. Keep that in mind. He's won a couple trophies. He's won basically, what? Has he won everything? He's won everything that United have won since Alex Ferguson left. Yeah, everything that United have won since Alex Ferguson left, Anthony Martial has been a part of that. And that just also shows how long he's been here for. He was here when we won the FA Cup. He was here under Louis van Gaal. He was here when Mourinho did the double. He was here with the Carabao Cup with Eric Ten Hag. Oh, I just had to mention that. Because yesterday when I saw the clips of him and the Stretford End singing his chant, that was, by the way, I used to play with Man United on FIFA and score with Anthony Martial, because in the game they had the chant as well whenever you would score with him. It's between Martial and Makeda for the best debut goal I can remember. For me, it's Martial easily. It's Martial, just because of the fact it was against Liverpool. To come on and score. Oh, good times, man. Good times. Man United need someone like Martial, but more healthy and more available. United need a lot more than that. Yeah, Manchester United need a lot more than someone like Martial. Realistically, if we were to speak about going for a forward, because if we just go under this idea that United are going to build around Bruno, yeah? Let's say United's building around Bruno, so he's the guaranteed player in that front four. The right-hand side, still up for grabs, I think. I think it could be a toss-up between AMAD and Garnacho. I think, for me, it's AMAD, but, you know, I wouldn't be mad if it's Garnacho, but I prefer it to be AMAD. The left-hand side, Garnacho, for me, because I think Rashford's leaving, and I've given my reasoning as to why I think Rashford will be sold, because United have made it clear. Clearly, everyone's got a price. And if there is rumours, like Bruno, having links to Saudi, people came out, David Ornstein, etc., came out and shut it down immediately, which means Bruno is not going anywhere. With Marcus Rashford, this talk about him having a price tag and United will listen to offers for him, no one has shut that down. I haven't heard anyone shutting down. So I think, for that reason, I think Rashford will be sold. And I always said, by the way, throughout the entire season, I said it's going to be one or the other, because that is their most sellable assets. United's biggest assets to sell right now is Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. You lot might not rate Bruno Fernandes. Like, I get it. Some people might not rate him. But he is a sellable asset that Manchester United can definitely get money for, 100%. And he could go to a team and improve them going forward, especially in attack. So I think Bruno will be the one that stays. Rashford will be the one that leaves. And also Rashford, I think, just has more marketability. Then it leaves the question of who's going to be in that forward line. Who's going to be that leading striker? Who's going to be the guy that's leading the front line? Is United... Do we ever see United switching up their formation? Do we ever see United... Because this 4-2-3-1... I get it's not 4-2-3-1 technically. Because, you know, in build-up, it's different. It's 3-1-6, whatever. But I'm really curious to know if we'll ever see a United with two strikers on the pitch. One that maybe plays as a second striker and one... Because for me, the link-up striker, back to goal, the Anthony Martial type of, you know, that type of striker that can link up the front line and the midfielders, that's not Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund is a get in dangerous places and will find you. But the guy who is being the connector, that's not him. And that's an Anthony Martial type of... I'm saying an Anthony Martial type because you lot understand when I say that. Who can United go out that would fit that mold? I think of all the strikers that are available realistically. I think Ivan Toney is available. I always thought he might go to Arsenal. Like earlier in the season, I thought he'd go to Arsenal. But now I'm looking at it, I'm thinking he might not. I think Arsenal might end up going for it. Isaac. I'll be so sad if Isaac goes... My East African brother. I'll be so sad if Isaac goes to Arsenal because I can't root for him anymore. But it'll be very interesting to me. I think it was Roy Keane that was talking about Ollie Watkins. Here you go. Colin says it in the chat. You get Watkins plus Rasmus. That's what Roy Keane said. Yeah, I remember Roy Keane saying that. Back when he was in his prime, I wanted to see Griezmann and Zlatan Lukaku partnership. That would have been jokes. Imagine Zlatan and Lukaku up top together. That would be so jokes. Bruno under Oli basically played as a false nine, basically, literally. And he flourished in it. He did well in it. Send Garnacho for a loan. He ain't special. If Xavi Simons is a better player than him and is on loan, send the man on loan. The reason why Xavi Simons is on loan is not because he's not a good player. I just think PSG don't know what the hell to do with him. That's it. He went from PSV, yeah, back to what? He went from PSV. He was on loan at PSV. Then he went back to PSG. PSG didn't know what to do with him, so they just sent him out on loan again. And then, by the way, yeah, they still don't know what to do with him. PSG is the worst parent club to be a part of, in my opinion, especially as a young player, because they brought Mukiele for what reason? They don't know what to do with him. They've now put him up for sale. They brought Ugarte, don't know what the hell to do with him. They've now put him up for sale. PSG, if you're a young player, just because they're sending you out on loan does not mean that you're anything lower than... you're not ready for first team football. Xavi Simons is a great baller. PSG just don't know what to do with him. Simple as that. And you look at the way that PSG play, or the way that they have played over the different managers, the course of the different managers they've had. They don't have anyone playing in the 10. So Xavi Simons is forced to play out wide on the right-hand side. But they got Dembele for that now. They got Dembele for that. Why do they need Xavi Simons? And what annoys me, by the way, because, guys, I actually like Xavi Simons, yeah? It's just come out now that they're not going to sell him in the summer. Why are you wasting the guy's time? Just let him go and play football. Just let him go. But they said that he will leave, and basically they're thinking of letting him go out on loan again. Why are you going to waste his time to go out on loan again, back to RB Leipzig? Just sell the guy. Just sell him. I think Xavi Simons is a good player as well. He's a good player. PSG don't suit Simons. They don't. PSG have no, I think, identity. I'm so excited to see what PSG are going to look like without Mbappe, because maybe then they could actually have a proper system. Because before, I just felt like their system... I just feel like over the time that Mbappe's been at PSG, the system that they have doesn't make any sense, because it's just, let's try and get the ball to Mbappe. Let's just try and get the ball to Mbappe. Garnacho has such a poor first touch. I'm sure that's something he'll grow out of. Let's do a swap with Sancho so that PSG can get... Sancho is going back to Dortmund. Sancho is going to stay at Dortmund. I don't think... And I want him to, by the way. I want him to, because I just want him to do well. I want him to do well. And also, the thing that I see, and this is maybe why I would like maybe Rashford to leave, is because people that have been here for long, or people that have been around United during the times of toxicity, I just want a fresh, clean slate. Like, that's it. That's why I want Luke Shaw to leave. That's why I want Harry Maguire to leave. I'm not saying they are toxic. I'm saying that they've been around toxic environments. And, like, even with Eric Ten Hag, I just feel like in order for us to fully judge Ineos and to fully have an opinion on them, I genuinely feel like they need to have a clean slate with everything, that where they can only, like, they can put their fingerprints on stuff. If you lot know what I mean. Like, if they are changing the CEO and they're changing the director of recruitment and all of that kind of stuff, we should just let them change everything and let them just have full control over everything. So that way we can judge them accordingly. Because otherwise, if we're trying to judge them and we're like, oh, but they still have X player, this player is still there, you know, if Luke Shaw stays, if Ten Hag leaves next season and Luke Shaw is still here, people are going to be like, look at Luke Shaw, he's on his 10th manager of the year, however many managers he's had at that point at United. People are going to be like, he's on his X number of manager. And talking about Eric Ten Hag, Be sure to hit the like button, guys, if you've just come through. Talking about Erik Ten Hag, I saw, obviously yesterday he did his speech. I want to get it up word for word for you guys, but he did do his speech after the game, similar to the speech that he gave last year ahead of the end of the season. Obviously, fans are cheering him. By the way, can I just say, United fans did not boo him. United fans did not boo him. Yeah, it was the, what's it called? It was the Newcastle fans that booed him. But he talked about, you know, it being a difficult time. He talked about thank you. He's basically just the normal complimentaries. Thank you for supporting us during the season. It's been a difficult one, blah, blah, blah. We're going to make sure we fight to bring back the trophy, the FA Cup, to Old Trafford. He was asked pre-game if it was his goodbye, if he was planning to say goodbye, etc. He said no. I think he very much... I think Ten Hag knows if he's staying or if he's going. I think he knows. And the fact that he's speaking the way that he is, I think there might actually still be some uncertainty in the air surrounding him. I don't think it's the FA Cup solely that will be a big part of whether he stays or not. I think other stuff will be on it. But I do think that there are some stuff that works in Ten Hag's favour. I think the injuries works in Ten Hag's favour because, let's be real, those injuries are a bit absurd to deal with as a manager. But also, I think it's the fact that I think Ineos know that he walked into an effed up Manchester United structure. I mean, they themselves are shocked right now with all the things that they have to fix. So I think they also believe that he hasn't been given a time or a moment or an opportunity to just focus on doing what he has to do, which is coaching, which is managing, etc. So I think as much as there's things that work against him, such as the performances, the results, the Champions League campaign, the United possibly finishing in the worst place since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement, all of that stuff I think could work against him, but I think there's also stuff that work for him. And that's why I don't feel like it's solely going to be on the FA Cup and whether he brings the trophy back. Minna, could AMAD be what we thought Sancho was going to be for us? 100%. I think they're quite similar. I think they are quite similar in a few stuff, in especially like the technical ability. I think they're good. I think Sancho is more of the type of pass and move kind of player, where I'm not saying AMAD is better, but I think there's things that AMAD flourishes in that Sancho might not have. That's it. I think when you look at yesterday's performance, I saw a lot of that when he was playing at Sunderland. I saw a lot of that. But there's certain elements of his game that stick out to me, especially over the course of the last season and this season. Number one, his physical ability, guys. This was a guy who came to United small in stature. Yeah? This is a guy that came to United small in stature, didn't have much physical strength. Went to Sunderland, bulked up a little bit. Under Tony Mowbray, worked his arse off defensively and in the weights room. And you can see it on the pitch. You can see it at Sunderland. You can see it now. And I tweeted, yeah, guys, one thing I like to do, yeah, is I always like to go and find old tweets that I tweet. And I tweeted back in December the 12th, 2022. Yeah, December 12th, 2022. I tweeted saying, if you've been watching AMAD at Sunderland, you see the improvement of his intensity and how he uses his body physically. Technically, he's always been talented, but he's added that extra physicality to his game and it's showing. And it's really, really showing in his last couple games that he's played, especially yesterday and that. His defensive work rate has improved immensely. He's good at that. But his technical ability, guys, I genuinely think like we're not deep in how good he is on a technical level. I don't think we're deep in how good he is on a technical level. When it comes to his passing and moving, his dribbling. Even there was a thing yesterday, which is minor. It's minor, right? But people like Anthony ain't doing that. Even I don't think Garnacho's doing that. There was a tight space of Wan-Bissaka and himself trying to get out of play. They build up out of play. And then he's running on the line. He's running on the touch line, yeah? Trying to get forward. There's two players next to him on the left. He saw a little gap between the two players to play a reverse pass across. And I think it was, I want to say to Kobe or maybe to Bruno. I can't remember. But he played that pass. Anyone else, wallahi, if that's Anthony, he's running into a blind alley. Garnacho running into trouble. They're all going to run into trouble. But it's just that having, and I used to say this all the time, sometimes I feel like AMAD has eyes on the back of his head and on the sides of his face. Because he sees stuff that in that position, other players wouldn't see. And that makes, to me, that makes him a little bit better than a lot of other players that United have right now that play on the wings. And I said this all the time, in a team of Manchester United that is thinking about having possession more often, he will flourish. He will flourish. He will be the man. He will be that guy. Because in possession is when you will play to his strengths. And a couple months ago, I think it was like January or February, someone was asking me, why doesn't Ten Hag play AMAD? And I said, it's not that AMAD's not good. I think AMAD is very good. But I said, the manager has a negligence. At that time, I felt like the manager had a negligence for possession. And as a result, in those situations, I do not think you would get the best out of AMAD Diallo. Excuse me. Suddenly, you bring him into games where United are dominating possession, or they are better in possession than before, and it's no surprise that he's doing well. It's no surprise, guys, his feet, it's not just his dribbling, but just his quick feet. Yesterday, I felt like he could have had a goal when he played little one-touch ball. By the way, I've seen him do that so much at Sunderland. I think he even scored against Birmingham City, where he put the ball through Hannibal's legs last year, just from a pass and move. And that's just what he's good at. I think he's better than Sancho, but I think Sancho has had the advantage of playing first-team football from a quick, like an earlier time. Like, I feel like Sancho was... AMAD hasn't had AMAD's full senior team, I would say, like, when he really started playing senior football was last year. Before that, he was struggling at Rangers. Before that, he was struggling to get into the United team because he was still young. And I feel like that loan spell was really what changed everything for him. Not just in terms of playing consistently, but physicality as well. It changed a lot. So now, and my stance on AMAD is still the same. It's either Ineos, similarly to how they've kind of buckled down on Bruno Fernandes, I hope they start to buckle down on certain players as well and say, yeah, you're part of the plan, you're part of the plan. Because if AMAD is not part of the plan, sell him and let him go play football elsewhere. And that's not me saying it as I'm not a Man United hater, but I don't want to waste another year. By the way, he will be going into his final contract, his final year of his contract. Anthony must be sold. Anthony has to be, when we look at the transfer, when the day of the transfer window opens, the first name I need to see on the paper is Anthony. Because there is no way in hell with the likes of Garnacho. Like, I'm not going to lie, guys. Anthony's the worst out of Garnacho, AMAD, and Sancho. Sancho's getting sold. So Anthony should get sold too. If United are truly going to go for Elise. AMAD is the winger version of Maino. They are quite similar in their skill set. They're very good technically. Both of them are very good technically. You know what's funny? The last two games we've had a lot of better possession, and he was key to that. 100%. I totally agree. AMAD has the ability to make others play better, quick 1-2 passes. He's stronger than he looks in duels, especially a work rate and press resistant, decent inverted right winger with technical ability. That literally sums up AMAD Diallo in a nutshell. That literally sums him up. Elise is dead, can't lie, don't rate him. You know what? I've seen a lot of people saying they don't know what the Elise hype is. I've seen quite a few. This JM42 is not the first person. My cousin was saying this to me the other day as well. My cousin's a United fan as well, and was saying, like, Elise is good, but I don't know why, like, United are hyping him up. I'll be real. I don't know if United get Elise, what does that mean for AMAD? That's generally my curiosity. My curiosity is, if United get Elise, what is going to happen to AMAD Diallo? Is he going to be back at square one? Is he going to be a bench player? Is he going to be sold? I don't know. It is interesting. It's really interesting for me. But guys, someone in the question asked me, let me find this question because I want to go back. I want to go back and here you go. Twalumba said, Mina, player of the season. Genuinely. Oof. I don't know, because I would say Dalot, but like Dalot ain't been good since the Brentford game. He's been very on and off. He's been very, like, since the Brentford game, he's kind of been on and off. Who's your player? Guys, tell me who's your player of the season. A part of me wants to say Bruno, guys. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. But a part of me wants to say Bruno. It'd probably be between Bruno and Dalot. It'll be between Bruno and Dalot. Because I'm thinking, I'm looking at every position, yeah. And I'm thinking, there hasn't really been any standouts in each. I think midfield, standout for me, Maino. But can you really give a player of the season to someone that just came in what, November was it? Can you really give them player of the season? Dalot for me was player of the season until like 2 months ago, where I just feel like his consistency has kind of dropped a little bit. Thamir Al-Harbi said Casemiro. Bro, whatever you're on, Thamir, give me that. Whatever you are on, give me that. Because he said Casemiro. Casemiro, I feel like yesterday, guys, what happened for Casemiro to just wake up and decide that he's going to play properly? It's like Casemiro's been maybe he watched his last couple games back on tape and he's thinking, shit, I'm disgracing myself to the world. Because yesterday, he looked like a different guy. It's like he's saying, please keep me, guys. One more year of 350k a week. Please don't sell me. Please don't sell me. It's like that's what he was doing yesterday. Out of the blue after he's been playing crap the last couple games. But for me, Onana's been inconsistent. He's had good runs of games, then he's had poor runs of games where he literally cost us. Rashford, for me, non-existent. It's between Dalot, Bruno, Maino. Yeah, Dalot, Bruno, and Maino. Casemiro heard Saudi's interest was looking shaky, so he stepped it up. I'm also going with Johnny Evans. Guy has to be shocked he's played so much. Johnny Evans probably thought, yeah, I'm just going back to Manchester to chill for 1 year before I retire. And suddenly, he's being told to work. He is traumatized. And to be honest, when he has played, he's played well. Like there's games where he's been so important for us. There's been games that he was so important for us. Minna, are you looking forward to Uzbekistani football? Are we really making... Can we buy Johnny Evans a sim? Can we... Oh, Johnny Evans is the oldest in the team and he's the most mobile. That's what's killing me. That's what makes me laugh. But guys, quickly before we wrap it up, where's United going to finish? If we finish 8th, that's actually embarrassing. That's actually embarrassing if United finish 8th, which is what is most likely to happen. Unless Newcastle lose on the weekend and we finish 7th. If we finish 7th, that's Conference League, right? And if we finish 8th, that's nothing. And 7th is Conference League. So do you not want to finish in Conference League? Or do you guys want to finish outside of 8th? Because I'm not going to lie, finishing 57 points, that's one less than Moyes'. And we're still on a negative goal difference. What kills me is Chelsea got 13 plus goal difference. Chelsea, the team that we've been trolling for so long, is 7th or 8th place. Are you sure? I thought it was just Conference League. I thought Conference League spot in Premier League. I thought it was only 7th. Let me double check. Yeah, Conference League is only 7th. 5th and 6th is Europa League. 7th is Conference League. And 8th is nothing. But if we finish 8th, apparently if we finish 8th and we win the FA Cup, we go to Conference League. Why would you guys wish that? Why would you guys want that? How did Chelsea get ahead of us? They've been on a winning streak. Chelsea they've won 4 out of their last 5 games. So that is how. If City win FA Cup, PL get an extra. I don't want to be in the Euros, guys. I don't want to be. We get an extra Europa place. Oh, wait, hold on. We get Europa or we get Conference. Is that what you're saying? If City win the FA Cup, we get Europa League. If United win the FA Cup, we get Europa, not Conference League. Do you guys want to be in Europe next year? Europa League. You know they play games at 3:55 p.m. guys. They play literally games kick off at 3:55 UK time. You guys actually want to watch that? You genuinely want to watch that? I'd rather not play Europe than Conference League. I'm sorry, it's just my truth. I agree. United should not be in Conference League at all. United should not be in Conference League at all. I have no desire to be in the Conference League. Yeah, everyone's saying you don't want the Conference League. League Cup winners get Conference League. FA Cup winners gets Europa League. I thought I much prefer Europa League. For me, it's Champions League or nothing. It's Champions League or nothing. Honestly. And you know, guys, if Ten Hag is manager, right? There's no rotation in Europa League. We are playing a strong 11 every single game. We are going into every game with our strongest lineup. You lot know that's happening. It's the inevitable. He did it last year. If we're in Conference League, well, don't even get me started. If we're in Conference League, did you see what we did in Champions League? Embarrassing. Listen, we shouldn't. I genuinely would want just no Europe football. One Premier League game a week. That's it. That's all I would want, honestly, because that will give us enough time. If a new manager comes in or Ten Hag remains manager, it will give us enough time to just solidify ourselves with the squad that we have. That's it. Like the team that we have next season. And I get, because I see people saying that not being in Europe is basically, it's a cash loss for the team. The squad will lose out of revenue. But sometimes it's something, it's an L you gotta take. I can't lie. Quickly before we wrap it up, guys. Brighton versus United. You know what? I'm just happy it's the 19th of May. If you are new here to the channel, you wouldn't know that I've had a countdown for the last 4 months, waiting for the 19th of May. I've been waiting for the last day of the season just so that I can see the back of this Premier League season. This is the worst Premier League season that I've watched in the last 10 years. Like, in the last 10 years, this is the worst one. There's no season that's worse than this. So I'm finally glad we've gotten to the end of the line. We've gotten to the finish line. What I'm gonna do, guys, after the Brighton game, maybe on Monday or Tuesday, sometime next week, I'm gonna do a stream and we're gonna re-watch a prediction stream that I did at the beginning of the season to see how far off my predictions were. That's it. That's what we're going to do next week. And we're going to sit there and we are just going to laugh, guys, because I know I probably made some very, very far off predictions. I think I said that United have to be in and around the title race, basically. We have to be in and around the top 3. How many games left? We've got 2 games left. We've got 1 game tomorrow and then 1 game on Sunday, sorry, and then the FA Cup, and that's it. The season's end. The football season will be literally in 3 weekends is the Champions League final. So pretty much football will be coming to an end, and then July you'll see the Euros. Euros will start end of June, sorry, or like mid-June. So they're actually starting to announce the Euros teams. I saw the Germany team get announced, the provisional team. The French team is getting announced today. So it's some nice little international football for us to watch before we basically watch Manchester United again. Oh, and there's just going to be a lot of transfer talk. Guys, you know what I'm going to do? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I might get a whiteboard and I'm going to sit here. I'm going to have a big whiteboard throughout the transfer window, guys. And every day I'm going to add the names of people that we are linked to. So every day, you lot know what transfer window is like being a Manchester United fan. We are linked to like 50 people a day. So we're going to keep a list of it. And every day we're going to update it. And then at the end of the summer transfer window, we're going to see how many players Manchester United were linked to in the summer transfer window of 2024. And how many of them did we actually sign? Because we could be linked to like 4, 5, 6, 7 people in one day. And then we end up with absolutely none of them. You lot remember when we were linked to Schneider many, many years ago? Remember when we were linked to Arturo Vidal? I really thought he was coming. Frankie de Jong. The list is endless. Minna, will you be covering the Euros? Yeah, I might do some watch-alongs during the Euros, inshallah. I might be traveling as well, so I need to figure out what my travel schedule is. But I'll definitely do some watch-alongs. we will be linked to De Jong again. 100%. I'm giving it until the 27th of May before we see any sort of news about Frankie De Jong and Manchester United. I bet you some news is going to come out and be like, oh, Eric Ten Hag's target is interested in joining, depending if Ten Hag leaves. We're going to see something like that. Jared Branthwaite, he will be a name that pops up. Todibo, Tapsoba. Remember last summer, guys? I was sitting here doing statistical breakdowns, trying to analyze Tapsoba versus Todibo versus Kim Min-jae. Guess what? We didn't end up with any of them. And we're going to do it all over again this summer, because that is the fun part of the summer transfer window, man. Big up to everyone. That's the end of the stream. We'll be back tomorrow. What time will we be back tomorrow? We'll be back tomorrow 4 o'clock. UK time. Today we started a bit late, but better late than never, innit? Better late than never. Big up to everyone. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Next week we will be here with a members call-in show. It'll be for everybody, but only members can call in. So if you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content, of course. You get to support the growth of the channel. Big up to MUFC, been a member for 6 months, says, that's an amazing channel. You should also write down the name of the channel who linked it to us. So what? We should have a source. Like when you do assignments in university, you have to have your source that you got it from. All right, we're going to have the source, we're going to have the name, and then we're going to have a big ass whiteboard here, and we're just going to keep adding to it every single day. Big up to MUFC 14, been a member for 6 months. I appreciate that. Just like MUFC 14, if you want to join the membership club, you can. It's the pinned comment in the chat. You get your badges, you get your emojis, you get your custom member content. Of course, we've got a call-in show coming next week where we're going to round up the season. We got some streams coming on the weekend, guys, so don't go anywhere. Turn on your post notifications, because we got a vibe along, a watch along for the last women's game of the season. And trust me, guys, you think the men's season is fun? The women's season, it's between Chelsea and Manchester City, and Man United are welcoming Chelsea to Old Trafford on Saturday. And if Chelsea win and City win, Chelsea will win the title on goal difference. So if United get a result against Chelsea, they're giving the title to their Manchester rivals. We got to watch along. Make sure you lot turn on your post notifications. That link is already live, so when we go live, you get notified. And we're going to be doing, are their tickets still available? They are. They're on the Manchester United website. I think tickets are like £15, £20 maybe. A lot cheaper than the men's team. And of course, it's on 2 different days, so it doesn't clash with men's football. Outside of that as well, we got some content on the weekend. I'm going to be doing like a roundup for all the entire Premier League, basically, just rounding it up ahead of the big weekend on Sunday. And then we got streams after the game on Sunday as well. So turn on your post notifications, so when I go live, you lot will get notified. Big up to everyone. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I'm out. Peace.